DiiVA network. So DiiVA technology, basically what it is, a home networking solution, which is very different from existing AV technology. So the key difference is that it's a network. What I mean by that is the fact that in a home network such as this, where you have a living room TV and a bedroom TV, everything's connected through a network. But you need a solution that can not only carry data, just like an Ethernet network, but something to carry audio, video, Ethernet, USB, and everything else you would ever need in terms of a complete home network. So DiiVA differs greatly against such as HDMI, for example, in the fact that it's a network. So what I mean by that is, today, let's just say you have 3 devices connected to a TV. PlayStation to input 1, DVR to input 2, or Blu-ray to input 3. You have to remember that combination. So input 1 is always PS3, input 2 is DVR, input 3 is Blu-ray. So you're going to tell your kids, your wife, everybody else in the house, what input corresponds to what device. Secondly, within a typical home environment today, another problem you have is storage. Where are all my content located? Is it in my DVR? Is it on my Blu-ray disc? Or maybe I streamed it from Netflix? Or maybe I downloaded it to my PS3 or my computer. Whatever the case may be, you need to know where your content is residing. Lastly, you need to know the capability of each device. So for example, if I have an MPEG-4 file, I need to know which of my devices can decode my MPEG-4 file. So those 3 combinations, the user has to always remember to allow them to play back a video file or watch any content. However, once you have a network such as DiiVA, none of that applies anymore. The reason being is, since again DiiVA is a network, the technology doesn't care if it's compressed, uncompressed, where the content is located, what devices that are available on the network. As long as the resource is available on the network, you can take advantage of it. So for example, the DiiVA network, since we can carry uncompressed, compressed data, USB and other control mechanisms, you're free to do whatever you want on the network. So one of the advantages in a DiiVA environment, when you plug in devices, just like an Ethernet network or a computer network, when you plug in the device into a port, you don't have to remember what port you just plugged into. It's a network. So what that means is when you plug in devices, they all show up, automatically discover each other. That's number 1. Number 2, every device also announces its capability. So what I mean by that is, say DVR, for example, has the ability to record, or maybe has DVR functionality or decoding functionality, you'll publish that to the network. That information is available to the network for anybody to take advantage of as a resource. Secondly, maybe other devices have other mechanisms that other devices can take advantage of, say, let's say MPEG-4 decoding, or a streaming service like Netflix or other services. So that information also available on the DiiVA network. Lastly, every device has the ability, using the API middleware of DiiVA, to have the ability to publish their content list. So what I mean by this, say DVR has recordings, for example. So it has, American Idol or other TV shows that has recorded and publishes that list. A game console may have a list of games or downloaded videos it might have, so it publishes that list. A Blu-ray player, for example, maybe just has 1 disc inside, but also publishes that as a content available for the network to take advantage of. Now we have available devices, available capability, and available list of content all through DiiVA technology plus the middleware. So once all that information is available, you can have an application such as this Android app, for example, that has a list of all the content that's available. So regardless of the location of the content, downloaded, recorded, disc-based, such as this Beach's Blu-ray here, it really doesn't matter. From a user's perspective, they no longer need to know, is it in my DVR, is it in my NAS, is it in my game console, is it in my Blu-ray player? It's all irrelevant. The network plus the middleware virtualizes all the complexity underneath and allows the user to have a content-based navigation. So what I mean by content-based navigation, we have 2 TVs currently showing 2 different things. Let's say I want to watch something else. So all I have to do within this user interface, which the software itself can reside inside a TV, inside a phone, or any other device. It's just a control mechanism. So once I do that, let's say I want to pick a particular content I download or recorded, and all I have to do is select the screen I want to watch it on, and then point to select the actual content I want to watch on the screen. So once that happens, the content I've chosen now starts playing back. I didn't make a choice of input. I didn't make a choice of a particular device to play that back. I didn't even indicate the actual physical location of that file. The reason being is DiiVA, the technology with its middleware and hardware, has the ability to virtualize all that for the user. Basically put an abstraction layer between the user so that the user doesn't have to make the decisions. The network itself has all the information I just mentioned earlier to be able to collect all that information and then allow the user to just select the screen and the content. So when I selected this file, the file resides somewhere on the network. So what the network does is finds a location. Once it finds the location of the file, it looks for the devices. As I mentioned earlier, each device will declare its capability. So using all that information through the API middleware available in DiiVA, the device is found that can decode this file. Let's say it's MPEG-4, for example. If it's MPEG-4, then it says, can you decode MPEG-4? Then if it says no, then it goes to the next device, until it finds the actual device that can decode it. So once it finds that device, it'll send a compressed file directly to that device. Using the same wire connection, it'll send the uncompressed file from the device that decoded to the screen of your choice. Now we're watching it on this living room screen, for example. Let's say I get tired and say I want to continue watching. Instead of having to have a secondary device, being a network, we can reroute the video we're watching in the living room to the bedroom and continue watching what you were doing earlier. Again, no interruptions. Again, being a network, such as similar to a computer network, you can reroute things as you please. But since we're a more powerful network, to support up to 18 gigabits of data, you can reroute uncompressed video, compressed video, really doesn't matter. You get the experience that you want in a content-based navigation type of scenario. So now, while I'm watching here, if I have a Blu-ray player that's in the living room, for example, I can now access that in my bedroom. Again, being a network, each device and their capability is nothing more than a resource. For example, such as a shared printer in your home network, it's just a resource for anybody to take advantage of in your home network. Similar to that, in a DiiVA network, every device, doesn't matter if it's a game console, DVR, or a streaming device or a Blu-ray player, it just becomes a resource available for you to stream to any screen. Another application that was impossible until today is what we call remote gaming. So let's say I was watching the Blu-ray again, switching back to the living room. I was watching Blu-ray. Let's say I get tired, I get bored, whatever it might be, or kids come home and they want to start playing games. So the kid pulls out his phone and selects his PS3. In typical environment, I mean, if you're in the same living room, you can just play with any controller. But let's say the PS3 is located somewhere else in the house. For example, this TV is DiiVA enabled already, integrated with DiiVA inside, and that PS3 can be residing anywhere else. All you gotta do is plug in a USB controller directly into the TV. For example, if the PS3 is too far away for wireless to work, then you can just plug in the USB controller and have full access to the PS3. Again, regardless of where you are, just like a shared printer in the network, PS3 is nothing more than a resource. It just happens to use the DiiVA technology to allow to do many things that were not possible. Now, while I'm playing the game, let's say important guests show up. The only option the kid has is either stop playing or unplug the PS3 and start carrying it to his room, plug it back in and start playing. Well, instead of doing that, with DiiVA, all he has to do is pull out his phone, select the bedroom of his choice, goes to his room, goes to his DiiVA TV, enabled TV, plugs in his USB controller directly, gets his USB controller, and starts playing. Again, no interruptions, just a resource to take advantage of on the network. It doesn't really matter. But from a perspective of usage, this is something not possible today. Unless you're within wireless range, you won't be able to do it. Let's say you're upstairs, for example. The kid will never be able to play this in today's environment without DiiVA. But DiiVA allows you to virtualize the entire experience, so you only have to worry about what content you want to watch or take advantage of, and the screen of your choice. So it really allows for that true content-based navigation, which is not possible today. And we believe that with the integration of DiiVA into consumer electronic devices, the consumer electronic space will be able to deliver the true content-based experience that we're looking to deliver with DiiVA technology. Thank you.